Namaskaram, everyone. We have already seen how King Prachetasas, also known as Barishad, had 10 sons who were called as the Prachetas brothers. King Barishad, if you all remember, was the eldest son of Havirdhana and Havirdhani. And he was married to Shatadhriti, the daughter of the Lord of the Seas. Havirdhana and Havirdhani in turn were the sons of Vijitashva and Nabhaswati, and Vijitashva and Nabhaswati were in turn the son of Prithu, from whom our Mother Earth gets her name Prithvi. So coming back to the Prachetasas brothers, the sons of King Barishad, he asked them to perform tapas in order to make themselves fit to continue the line. They had accordingly set out to the forest to do what their father had asked them to do. They travelled to the west, and while they were so engaged, they found an immense lake which was almost as large as the sea. It was filled with water which was clear, pure, and without any waves, like the sun, like the mind of a sadhu, which is without any agitations. Fish were there inside the lake, and lotuses, red, white, and blue, were floating on its surface. Water birds made sweet music, and this was echoed by the music of the bees, which were drunk with the honey from the flowers abounding there. Perfume-laden breeze was blowing across the lake, and the brothers stood there as if spellbound. They heard sweet music, and they were intrigued as to where it came from. All of a sudden, out of the heart of the lake rose the Lord Mahadeva with his attendants. He was glowing golden, and his beautiful neck was black with the poison which he had swallowed for the good of the world from the manthan. A smile lit upon his face, and the princes, after a moment of stunned wonder, fell at his feet and worshipped him. He blessed them and said, "I know you are the sons of Barishad, and you are the great devotees of Narayana. I know why you have come to the forest to perform tapas. I have come to you to help you. I will teach you the great incantation which will make you see the Lord in person." Mahadeva taught them the Rudra Gita, which was an invocation for Narayana, and said, "If you repeat this mantra every day with a steady mind, you will attain what you desire." He then vanished from their sight. The Prachetasas entered the ocean, and there they performed tapas for a long time. Narayana, pleased with their devotion, appeared before them and said, "I am pleased with your tapas. Ask me what you desire most, and I will grant you that. I know that you have been commanded by your father to perform tapas in order to continue the line of kings. I assure you that a son will be born to you who will be a Prajapati. His fame will spread all over the world, and he will be remembered by posterity." It is important to understand how in those days the king felt absolutely responsible to bring a Vanshaj who was apt, righteous, and responsible. And hence, childbearing was not a process of simply continuing the lineage, but of bringing down such beings who would do good for the subjects and the kingdom. There was once a rishi by the name Kandu, and he was performing intense tapas. Indra, with the intention of disturbing his tapas, sent down to the earth an apsara called Pramalocha. The rishi became so enamored of her that he spent many years with her, tasting the pleasures of the senses. A daughter was born to them. Pramalocha abandoned the child in the forest and went back to the heavens. The child, which was weeping, was adopted by the trees of the forest. Taking pity on the child, the moon came and placed his index finger into her mouth and fed her with nectar. The child is now a woman. Her beauty is heavenly. She will be the wife to all of you, and she will bear a son who will be a Prajapati. The Prachetasas were overwhelmed by the sight of the Lord. Composing themselves, they fell at his feet and praised him. Accepting their worship with a gracious smile, Narayana vanished from their sight. The brothers then rose out of the ocean, and they saw the entire face of earth covered by trees, and nothing could be discerned. They became angry and tried to burn the entire forest. Brahma came to them and asked them to forbear from their rashness. The trees that were still remaining brought out their foster daughter Marisha, also known as Tarkshi, and gave her to the valiant brothers. All of them married her. A son was born to them, and he was Daksha. It was the same Daksha Prajapati who had insulted Mahadeva long ago. He had been born as a human being because of his disrespect to Mahadeva once upon a time. The son grew up and he was old enough to be throned. The Prachetasas crowned him and left the kingdom for the forest. On the way, they met Narada. They spoke to him humbly and asked him to teach them the path of salvation. When he went away, they remembered his teachings, and they also remembered the words of the Lord that they would be assured of a place at his feet when they were ready to abandon the world. They set their minds on the feet of Narayana, and soon they reached him. Dear listeners, here ends the conversation that began between Maitreya and Vidura. If you all remember, the stories that we have been listening to was a result of the conversation that happened between Rishi Maitreya and Vidura. When Vidura asked Rishi Maitreya to enlighten him about how this whole universe came into being. When he asked him to show him the way as to what a man should do to avoid pain, the pain which is resulting from his karma. Rishi Maitreya, in appreciation of the questions asked by Vidura, starts by narrating the stories of the Lord. Vidura here takes leave of Maitreya and proceeds towards Hastina to see his brother and Yudhishthira. His sole aim in going there was to make his brother realize that he that is Dhritarashtra, should now get ready to abandon the world and reach the feet of the Lord. It is very interesting to note one more detail, that when Vidura was questioned by Yudhishthira about his travels, he does not tell him about the tragedy at Prabhasa, the terrible news about Krishna, that Krishna was no more. Vidura was so soft-hearted by nature that he could not bear the sight of suffering in others. And therefore, he did not have the heart to give them the news about Krishna. In the upcoming narrations, we will continue to listen to the story of Swayambhuva Manu and his wife Shatarupa and their children. Hari Om.